Okay, so I am going to go through some stuff to improve your ability to externally rotate and your mobility on internal rotation. This is for post-stroke patients, although you could also have this come in for hip-related stuff in general, just ortho stuff. So obviously, please check with your PT or whoever you're working with, if that's me, if that's someone else. Really, really straightforward. So why do we do this? When someone is walking, if you see that they turn out like this, right? You see how my foot is turned out? Very often what that is, sometimes it's just that the external rotators are really, really, really strong and the internal rotators are very long, and then weak. That's not typically the case. Typically what I've been seeing is more the muscles that take your leg out like that are actually relatively weak and they're shortened to protect themselves. They don't want to go in here because they're not that long and they're not that strong. So what do? I'm going to do this in stages, and I want you to follow along and find where it makes sense for you. So this is going to be my bed. Eventually the goal is to do stuff standing up. I have a band here which I'm going to use for resistance in a second. So let's take a look at this. So first, lying completely flat on my back, supine. You can see that my feet point straight up towards the ceiling. And if I had a pillow to prop my head up or something like that, that's fine. But what I want to work on is, can I even just voluntarily rotate in, that's internal rotation, and rotate out, that's external rotation. Rotate in and rotate out. And without looking, can I develop awareness of which way my foot is pointing? So if I look down right now, I know my foot is pointed that way to the left. I want to make sure that I can voluntarily get back up to straight, and there it is, okay? So just developing some awareness. This is internal rotation, that's external rotation, but there's no resistance on this. I can add a touch of resistance if I put my foot like this. I bend my knee to 90 degrees, I go in, and I rotate up. So we're just focusing on external rotation for today. I go in and I rotate up. So this is internal rotation. I'm stretching these muscles. I want to squeeze my glutes and get out here, okay? I can add resistance from here using a band. So here I have a TheraBand loop that's going to go around my knees. Just above the knee is great. Don't want it below the knee for this one. And you see how that stretches. That's the direction of force. So I go in, control, 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 squeeze my glutes, come out. In, control, 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 out. So that's good. Another position I can do this in, if that's uncomfortable or doesn't feel like it's sufficiently challenging, I can add a little bit of help with gravity. So if I'm in this position, I have my leg here out of the way so that way my knee can get to the bed. In, out. In, and out. In, and out, and I'm squeezing my glutes. That is where you want the force to come from, okay? I could add more force by hand or with a weight plate of some kind. I push down, I rotate out. I push down, and I rotate out, okay? If that's uncomfortable, you don't have to do that for now. I would progress these if I can do somewhere between 12 and 15. It doesn't really feel like a challenge to do that. You move on. So all of that is well and good, but I'm not weight bearing. And the thing is that doing things upright requires a different kind of coordination than doing them lying down. Doing them lying down is very straightforward. So if I stand up or sit at the edge of the bed, let's start with that. I'm seated at the edge of the bed, okay? I don't plant my foot. I have my heel up over here. And I can do the same thing. I rotate in, out. Rotate in, out. And the band is just adding some resistance, and it's cueing me to do the movement correctly because it pulls me into internal rotation. If that is not too difficult, I can do this with some kind of balance assist. I stand up and I do the same thing. I'm on my toe here and I'm controlling this in. I'm building a stretch up here. There's still some tension on the band. Now bands don't have the ideal resistance profile for this. I would rather, or a cable or something like that, but nobody has one of those to set up at home. Okay? Same thing, build up to sets of 12, 15. And you can always make it harder with a more difficult band, tying the knot closer together, adding a band, any of those work, okay? And the intention here after that is when I walk, now that I've built up some strength and mobility here, can I keep my foot straight when I walk, okay? Have a good day.